History of football. This video has been requested by @didcreator7282.
For starters, football started in the 19th century in Britain. But the games existed since the medieval times, but was played locally and with minimum rules. In the starting times, football was played with a rock as the ball, but then it was advanced into a bouncing rubber ball.
The first known ball which started involving kicking took place in China in the 3rd to end century. It was called kuju. Kuju was played with a leather round ball, with feathers inside a square area. Alternate spread modified into Japan and was called keimari and was played in ceremonies.
Manguk, perhaps even older than kuju, was played by Australians. The ball in this one was made by encased leaves or roots. Most features were unknown, but a chief feature seems to have been to keep the ball in the air.
Other games of football was known to be in ancient Greece, but was in a low status and was not even played in the games. Similarly, ancient Rome also didn't use it but did occur in the military, called harpistrum, and it was them who introduced it to Britain. And then the sport we do was created.
Then the sport takes place. A story says that the sport started taking place with rules, etc. in 12th century and were played in meadows and roads in England. But this version in the start was much more violent than the medieval times the games took place. More in Florence in 16th century.
As these violent games continued, it was forbidden in a lot of countries, but then came back to London in 17th century. It was to be forbidden again in 1835, but by then, the game was already played in schools. However, at that time, present-day football and rugby were different than now.
The games were played in schools, and the most part dominant schools were rugby and even ... In rugby, the rules included the possibility to hold the ball, which is present day rugby ... at Eton. The game was played with feet, which is the football we play now.
After that, there was an attempt to create proper rules in a meeting in 1848, but the aim wasn't achieved. Then in London 1863, the first FA was formed. It was decided carrying balls in the hand wasn't allowed. The result of this meeting was the game would be divided into rugby and football.
One more important fact on this topic is that there were two teams. The English team preferred to play in the rugby fashion, whereas the Scottish team preferred to play in a football fashion, which is what we play now. The sport started as an entertainment in Britain. Up to 30,000 people would watch.
In 19th century, the sport expanded a lot internationally as there were many countries who were colonized by the British. Countries in the South America and Europe gained interest in football.